Okay, so again, we're doing some really short videos here. This is from the legal analyst, Ward Farnsworth. It's called A Toolkit for Thinking About the Law. I had this book on my shelf for a long time, and I hadn't read it until I started reading it recently. So this is section number 2. It's called The Idea of Efficiency. So the purpose of this is to talk about how courts try to decide cases and how they want to avoid incentivizing people to do wrong things that increase cost or decrease wealth or increase they want to maximize wealth and decrease waste or costs. Okay, so he says that incentives come after a case in court. Incentives, the courts want to not incentivize certain behaviors and incentivize other behaviors. So they have two varieties of efficiency. So they have the Kaldor-Hicks, which is the one that he talks about in this book, and it's concerned with creating more benefits than cost overall. In other words, the hurt is fully compensated. The hurt injured or the injured person is fully compensated. And the Pareto efficiency, which means that no one is better off without making someone worse. And he says he doesn't really talk about that one in here. Okay, so he says there's a cheaper way to do things and more expensive way. So the law requires a cheaper way, even if it means that some good claims have to be dismissed to keep the incentive strong. The example he uses, I'll try to do it real quick, is that there's a guy that comes into a bank and he robs the bank and the teller won't give him the money. So he says, if you don't give me the money, I'm going to kill this guy. And the teller didn't give him the money, so he killed the guy. And then the family comes back to sue the bank for not giving the robber the money to save the man's life. And then so the courts decided that we cannot incentivize giving money to families who sue banks when they don't give money up to save someone's life, because it's not the job of the bank, and it creates a waste. Okay, so then he says the general point is that it's expensive when things go wrong. Perhaps this is mostly what it means. Remember when we talked about means meant what it means when things go wrong. One thing the law tries to do, some think it's the main thing the law tries to do, is to keep the cost of such situations to a minimum. It does this by penalizing people who make problems more expensive than they have to be, perhaps by holding them liable for the result, or by denying them a recovery they otherwise would have had. Okay, and then he talks about one more thing, the Coase theorem, C-O-A-S-E theorem, which is kind of like letting people or helping people work things out for themselves. He talks about that in here. So they can bargain with each other, they can make a little contract with each other. Bargaining can lead to efficient solution to property disputes. Okay, and that is the rule of efficiency, or the law of efficiency, whatever he calls it in here. Okay, so the idea of efficiency. Okay, so again, legal analyst, a toolkit for thinking about the law, Ward Farnsworth. Probably got it off of Amazon. That's where I get most of my books. So there you are.